Hold up. If I'm not mistaken, Miss Celestial tried to warn y'all about Pastor T.D. Jakes. She prophesied about Pastor T.D. Jakes and all his wrongdoings, and then they finally came out, and half of y'all still believed it. Miss Celestial back with another prophetic message about T.D. Jakes. Check this out.
Hallway, and I said that I saw T.D. Jakes had almost reached the end of that hallway. It was a dark hallway with many doors facing into the hallway, and he was in that hallway in the dark, knocking strongly on doors. And what this man was doing was he was trying to gain admittance. He was looking for help. He was looking for support from his brothers in the ecclesia. For T.D. Jakes is a Freemason. T.D. Jakes is not only a Freemason, but he's a member of the fraternity known as the Illuminati. They perform rituals. They worship the devil openly. They have given themselves up to serve the Baphomet God. And so this man has been rejected by God, but God has allowed the cup of judgment against him to be filling. And then the Lord gave me that vision of T.D. Jakes. The hallway was here, and T.D. Jakes had come much down the hallway. So if you make the perspective with me staring down the hallway, he had started way over there, and then he had come all the way down the hallway in the dark, knocking on many doors, but no door opened to admit him. And God was showing me that T.D. Jakes is frozen out even from this brotherhood, because what the brotherhood does is, as long as you're operating in darkness, as long as you're operating secretly, you can rise to the highest ranks. But when you get burnt, when you get exposed, when people now know that your hands are dirty and, oh, there's questionable backgrounds, and I don't think a bishop should be involved with Diddy, and there's homosexual lawsuits against him. All these things were prophesied here on the Master's Voice Prophecy blog in September of 2022. Too much loud noise, too much rejection. But now everybody's so complacent and acts like, oh, we always knew, but you didn't always knew. The majority of people cursed and spat and fought and scratched and cursed my very life to protect this bishop, because the natural behavior of us in the Christian world is to always shield Satan and to curse God and God's messengers. And so it was only when proof began to flood out, and God is not yet done with exposing this man. He's not going to die with any secrets. When the proof began to mount, then people began to say, oh my, and then they started to believe. And that's what caused a lot of people to flock here to this ministry, because they saw that prophecy. So T.D. Jakes had come all the way down. He was almost at the end of the hallway, and God was showing that this man wanted help. He still wants help, but the brotherhood ain't having it. And the reason is simple. Once you've been burnt, once you've been brought out in the open and your dirty deeds exposed and people are now talking about you, you become a heavy liability to organizations that thrive on secrecy and being shrouded in basically unbelief. The Illuminati in America, a high-ranking society with all the big names that you know as part of it, those people revel in the fact that the average American doesn't believe in them at all. It's almost like people who don't believe in Satan and hell. Satan loves that because he will really get to give you a wedding surprise. Jesus is going to have a wedding supper. Satan's going to have a wedding surprise for a lot of people, because the first day that they're going to know that the devil is real and that hell is real is when they pop out in that place for the first time and realize that, wow, a loving God can put me here for continuing pursuing and fighting to maintain a life of sin. And so he had come to the very end of the hallway, and he wasn't getting any help because they had basically cut him off. The doors were not opening, and he was almost now close to my perspective, which is where the hallway ended. And God was showing me this man does not have a lot of time left. At the very beginning of the hallway, about to start her own journey, is the woman I will now speak of. I saw back then last year, Joyce Meyer. And so Yah says, T.D. Jakes will not be tolerated much longer by him. And also the next person you will see fighting for her life against accusation of being a shad and a sham and a fraudster in public is Joyce Meyer, Pastor Joyce Meyer. Yah says that Joyce Meyer is a scammer and a fraudster, and allegations will come against her for those things, including something involving tax benefits that are not paid or levied or properly declared by her. That is a fraudster, says the Lord, a conjurer of magic, a magic trick maker for entertaining the people of God. And no one can claim that when Joyce Meyer is on stage that she's not affable, which means extremely friendly, extremely approachable, extremely easy to understand. But she's also got a way about her that you would say she's quite the comedian. Comedian is the word for a female comedian in the trade. Joyce Meyer has always got the people of God feeling loosed and relaxed and laughing, constantly chuckling when she preaches. There's absolutely no conviction in that woman's preaching. You could have 22 baby daddies and sit in Joyce Meyer's church and you will never feel the pinprick that there's something wrong with your life. You will never feel it because it is not in her. She's not interested in preparing people for heaven. She's interested in getting people to bond to her personally so she can siphon every penny that they have on them for her books, her tapes, her ministry, and I guess her face jobs that she started having. And so God says that that's a scammer, that's a fraudster, and allegations are going to come against her, and she's going to find herself as beleaguered under allegations by T.D. Jakes. That's in the natural. Allegations by the government for fraud and things like that. But in the spirit, God says that that's a conjurer of magic. This woman is working with some kind of seductive magic. That could be black magic or white magic, but it's definitely something that when the Lord gave me the vision against her in 2020, I think the prophecy is called cornucopia. It's either a 2019 3-part prophecy or a 2020 3-part prophecy. I saw that Joyce Meyer had a wand, excuse me please, and when she waved it over the people that she had come to preach to in a huge stadium, everybody fell asleep. Everybody in the stadium fell asleep. And then she took out a vacuum cleaner, and it didn't have the head on it, that vacuums. It was just a hose. And she put the hose on and she was putting it over the people and every penny that was in their pockets, mostly dollar bills. I didn't see coins. Every dollar that the people had began to suck into that huge vacuum cleaner. Suck into the vacuum cleaner that Joyce Meyer was spraying over the people. And then when she had finished taking every single piece of money in that auditorium, she touched something on the vacuum cleaner and reversed the hose. And then what came trickling out was just a few drops of grayish looking dirty dishwater. And God was saying, look at that. That's all that comes out of her back to the people. That's all she's giving them. Just a few drops of that dirty water that comes out of her that can never be mistaken for a Christian preaching. So you're listening to this and you're a Joyce Meyer fan and you're so upset that you want to fight. And guess what? I don't care. I don't work for you. My mouth does not have a lock or a combination code. God told me, open your mouth wide and I will fill it. And for the rest of my life, every prophetic word that he gives me, it will be spoken in the hearing of all the people, whether you agree or whether you say nay. It is absolutely inconsequential what you feel as a T.D. Jakes follower, Jackie Hill Perry follower, Tiffany Montgomery follower, because I've always said here that they are no group graves. When God gets a hold of the people that he has judged and he is ready to put them into silence, into shadow, and in some cases into the grave, there will be no group grave for you, the groupie, the fan, the stand, the protector, the one who wants to fight. You cannot jump into that grave with them. I told one of them who came here recently that there is nothing in you to pluck a soul out of hell and put them in heaven if God says no. There's nothing in you. So you need to close your mouth when people are getting their prophetic words here. You can't save them. What you can do is rush their judgments because you gather around them like lymphocytes. You sympathize with their sin. You tell them that they are not sinful and that they have done nothing. And it sounds personal to you. Like who asked you and who made you the gauge of the Lord prophetic word? You that cannot distinguish between Haggai and Habakkuk. Who asked you to be the one that vets another person's prophetic word that very often when it comes from this ministry, their navel string, that is their right to remain in this world. They came out in life and by that navel string they have been living that cut them off from their mom. Their navel string is sometimes attached to these prophecies, and you want to open your mouth and cut people out of this world by supporting them and telling them, no, queen, it's not true. Go off, king, keep preaching. You're murderers with your mouth, serpents and vipers. You will kill these people faster because as you gather around them and pump them up, Yah says, especially of Jackie Hill Perry, That is what has caused her to become deaf to him. She's chosen to listen to the crowd validating her, and so she is refusing her personal relationship.
At the end of the day, like I always say, warning comes before destruction. T.D. Jakes knew he was in hot water. T.D. Jakes had to get up out of there right before the P. Diddy trial started. He had to get on up out of there. He didn't want to hurt his church. You know, his image is already damaged, but he didn't want to hurt his church. But hey, everyone has their own thoughts and opinions. Make sure you drop down in the comment section. Let me know how you feel about this video. See y'all next time.